have a balance of the time to even have a discussion.
Sure.
Or we can set up a follow-up meeting for responses and replies. But I did want to get, it's critical issues that need to be discussed here. And whatever you've heard about me, usually when I attend meetings, the preconceived notions about Karen Jones, I would ask that you get to know me.
Absolutely.
And don't come biased.
Sure.
And that's for everybody who's in the room, because I record every IEP meeting, and I know people, oh, she's rambunctious, she's this and that, but I bought a sample so you can hear how it really goes in the meeting. And we've had police meet us there, and that's why I put my name up on the complaint, because I am being violated as well. As a parent and student. And I don't bite my tongue when I bring the facts. It's nothing hearsay. I'm going by what your law says to do. Right. And so that's why we're here today, because nobody is adhering to the rules on the state level and on the local level. And it's a lot of violations going on. And I'll just let everybody introduce themselves, and then we'll go on.
I'm Thad McClary, House District 76. How are you looking?
I'm Bishop Crawford, Director of Connecting Life Center.
Karen Jones, Advocate.
I'm Erica Richburg. I'm a Special Education Administrator for Dispute Resolution, Fiscal Compliance, along with Charter and Virtual Programs.
I'm Tricia Crane. I wear a lot of hats. I'm an interested observer today.
Crystal Richardson, Program Coordinator, Special Education Services.
Bernice Rush Harrison, Dispute Resolution.
Susan Goldthwait, Education Specialist for Region 8.
Philip Cleveland, Interim State School Superintendent.
My name is Clark Wagner. I work with Dispute Resolution with Special Ed Services.
Juliana Dean, General Counsel.
Okay, first of all,
Let me ask you for clarification. Tell me what organization again? I'm sorry I didn't hear you.
Connecting Life Center.
It's here in Montgomery. Okay, thank you.
okay. I put out a letter before when Dr. Bice was here. I had requested several meetings with Dr. Bice for about 5 years now, verbally and through email, to no avail, about serious issues that's going on, and not only Montgomery County, but I get parents calling me throughout the state. I have, and they find me. I don't wear a sign that says, hey, I don't have anything else to do. I want to help you with your problems or issues. That's all I want to do. I don't charge parents, because most of the parents that I deal with are disabled, and so they are not able to pay what someone would pay someone to do what I do to assist them in helping their child. I don't have any children. Most time when we're at meetings, most individuals who work for the state who have children, they get it a little twisted, and they say, well, my child is okay. You know, I hate to hear that from a state employee, because of course your child is going to have the best services, and you're going to make sure that they have the accommodations. And most times when state employees go into the school, that's who they go as, and they intimidate and harass those individuals, those employees, wherever they live. When I go as an advocate, we're already met with the police, and we have recording where MPD officers have said they were told wherever we advocates, they have a list of us, go to the schools to be there, and they search us, which intimidates the parent. We're not there to war with each other. We're there for the child. And so since I've been doing this here for the last 6 years, I've found out that it's a disparity in black boys being arrested, restrained, handcuffed, concussion, beat to concussions. They have, a lot of students have been raped, whether the city tries to cover it up or not. broad daylight on school grounds. A lot of them have been violated by teachers. And so these are critical issues in which you go to try to go to the superintendent, or I'm talking about the local one, to the board, where they made a new policy where you can't call names. Now, me as a citizen, when I'm going to give them information, if an individual wants to sue me, that should be on me for defamation of character. I hadn't ever been sued for anything I've ever seen. And I welcome them. I put my number out there anywhere, and anybody wants to call me, 214-201-1474. That's my new number. But my old number, I put it, call me. Because I stand on what I say, because I stand on the law. On what you said you're supposed to do and uphold. And so I would like an emergency review of Montgomery Public School System, because according to the matter subject to review, we are well past a state takeover. We've met the criteria based on the matters related to health, safety, and welfare, A through E. Selma City School System was taken over. Birmingham City School System was taken over. We've had just as many sexual misconducts with teachers and students. And when I put on there, on my Facebook page, to alert parents to what's going on, so your child can buddy up with a child, not to bring havoc into the city, but for safety precautions. If a child is alleged to be raped at a school, it should be known, so the parents have an option to make sure their child get home or buddy up before and after school. That should be an option. The teacher that we reported showing his penis in class the year before last, students were talking about it. They let him go. So they say. He was just arrested in Mobile County at a school system for sexual misconduct. And when I put his face back on my Facebook page, we tried to alert our school system, and the parent came and commented under the comment and said, well, they told us he'll never work again. When the special needs young lady was raped, taken away, and gang raped, they did nothing but transfer her to another school. No counseling, the school did nothing. The little 13-year-old boy who was just raped at Capitol Heights. You know, people call me. I wouldn't know this if the parents or someone, an official calls me and say, Karen, can you help this parent? You know, and like I said, I have no ulterior motive, because God put me in this place, I really feel, to do this. If not, I wouldn't be doing it. Because every time I say I'm going to do something else, something major happens. This school year was the worst year since I've been back home in helping parents who have children who have tried to commit suicide. There's a lot of suicide attempts this year in Montgomery. And so running back and forth to the emergency room with parents, trying to get them help, special needs children, because they are not been given their services and told to stay at home. Told to stay at home. Not homeschooled, just told to stay at home. And no teacher is coming out. Like Ms. Oldham child and been in school in February, and what they're doing is passing these children on without even anybody coming to the house. One of the young children that I helped to represent, he was beaten upside his head with a lunch pail. He has traumatic brain. They did, finally did the whatever, because Medicaid, you know. And he won't ever be, right? He can't go to school. He wets his pants and gets nervous when he passes the school by. But his brother, who I was helping, who they handcuffed, beat, and had several concussions at Lee High School, they forced him out. And they create these children, they create a monster in these children, because when you handcuff children, and we have pictures, to their, and I'm fairly dark, but they're darker than me, and you can see purple. It's a problem I have with that. I have a problem with them just handcuffing children to desks and classrooms, because you just need to walk out the room for a minute, and you can't leave them. And so, when I was reading the education accountability table, for intervention, we're overdue for funding. Even our 292-5 about the chief school financial officer, the duties and responsibilities. The monthly financial reports were way off for Montgomery County. We were just not getting them consistently, as if when Mr. Glover was there, he kept everything on time. When you ask for certain things, they always say legislators aren't allocating funds. That's why we can't do anything. I even have teachers call me, but they're so terrified about the backlash if they say something. And employees. I just don't advocate for children with special needs. You have adults calling me terrified that they're going to lose their job or they need help. And I'm like, 88, you know. But they need some immediate assistance. Well, what do I do? And I've helped parents get with these teachers too. Y'all, let's go Starbucks so y'all can nip it in the bud or whatever. And it works. But this Montgomery public school system is just not. Y'all need to come in. Really, the feds need to come in. It's really, I'm alleging, and I don't care, and I've said it in front of them. You can sue me if you want. I'm alleging that there are some misappropriation of funds, misuse of funds, fraud, waste, and abuse on that local level and even on the state level. That's what I'm alleging. And when I asked about the following accounts, school improvement, library enhancement, common purchasing, technology, student material, at-risk funds, and the foundation program funds, because we know that students are being denied services, and my superintendent, Margaret Allen, loves to say, well, the legislators aren't giving us money. We don't have any money. Well, I went to my legislator, Representative Knight, and asked, well, they said you don't have any money. He said, well, we have 5 new funds, and those are some of the ones that he said. So if they're not being distributed to the schools in a timely manner, like in October when they're supposed to need some of the funds, and you have to wait till December, and teachers have to buy their own copy machines and paper out of their own pockets. Children, you want them to write down because you're putting it on the board, and some of them can't write. It's a problem. The special ed department. Now, the special ed department, the feds really need to come to the state of Alabama. It's some money missing. It has to be. It has to be misallocated. It has to be misappropriated. It is a disparity with black employees, the hearing officers. I've been asking for years, why are they the same 3 white males being reappointed to these RFPs, to these contracts? And I'm just looking at the RFP and want to know who creates the RFP, who comes up with their salary, to whom do they report to? Because if you have three hearing officers, and in the last 2 years, I was reading the RFP, it was 400 and some due process hearings that were filed. Only 28 or so were heard, and then it said they made about $1.5 million in those 2 years. And they get an average of $3,000 a case. Somebody isn't doing math right. If you didn't hear the case, and 17% of those cases were only heard, those men make about $50,000 each case. if you look at it, if they didn't, you don't get, unless I'm wrong, do you get paid for things you don't hear? If they don't hear the due process case, are they still getting paid?
I don't, Crystal, you have to help me answer that.
Want to answer that with the new kind
Sure, I'm glad to. That's a very good question. Thank you so much for it. Whenever we were looking at the hearing officers, what had happened in the past is that they had been appointed by the Attorney General. And so the first hearing officer was appointed, I think, about 25 years ago. That's Mr. Romine. You're speaking about the IDEA due process hearing officers that contract with the state of Alabama, or are you speaking about the hearing officers that do disciplinary hearings for the Montgomery Public Schools?
I'm talking about the due process hearing on the state level.
Okay.
And because I'm pressed for time, I would love to hear the history, but I just need to know, basically, bottom line, are the hearing officers paid if they don't hear the due process case?
So there's many, many things that they do in addition to the actual hearings. So most of the cases in the state of Alabama are settled. They're either settled through a resolution meeting, they're settled through mediation, or they're settled between the attorneys. Whenever the hearing officer is assigned the case, they are made responsible for all that communication that goes between the attorneys, for notifying people about the timelines, issuing subpoenas, making sure the parties are meeting, the regulations. And so that requires effort and, billable hours whenever they perform those duties. So those are the duties that they perform in addition to just the hearings that actually occur.
Are they paid hourly or are they paid by
of.
case?
Used to
They
be
have
paid
been paid in the past hourly, but what we did whenever we moved to the RFP, instead of having them, we needed to add some more hearing officers because we've had a high volume of cases. And so whenever we tried to get an additional hearing officer hired, the Attorney General is no longer appointing them. So we had to figure out a different mechanism by which we could contract with the hearing officers. That's whenever we moved to the RFP, which we put out last year.
Now, the RFP.
And that's a
when
request
did
for
the-
proposal.
I understand. When was the last time that the Attorney General appointed hearing officers?
I think the last, and I don't have the specific date, but the last
Year.
hearing officer that was appointed was Mr. Morton, and Mr. Morton was appointed about 13 years ago, quite a long time ago.
Okay, so when it transitioned into RFPs, when was the transition to RFPs?
That was last year. That was the last fiscal year. So they're currently working under the RFP that we posted for the last fiscal year up through October 1st this year.
And there had been no black qualified applicants?
I can't speak to years past, but whenever we put out the RFP,
Well, it's just been 1 year now, because you just said y'all just
right,
did RFPs for 1 year, and the Attorney General appointed them prior
Previous.
to.
correct.
So I cannot believe that whether the Attorney General or the State Department of Education, because everybody promotes diversity in all, in just ethically and morally. Nobody here, Crystal, thought that we needed a black, a Hispanic. We're just not getting a female. Now, I mean, when you look at the makeup of this, sometimes you have to, okay, attorney, we already have 2 whites. Let's put a black to make it, because really, you can't tell me my issues as a white person, and I can't tell you yours. When especially, you cannot understand a black boys. These school systems are criminalizing these black boys.
Yes, ma'am.
And being a white person, and I make no excuses for being black or make no apologies. It's no way that you will ever understand some of the issues going on with these children. And now with Hispanic children, oh my goodness, when you come into the meetings, you don't even have an interpreter. He put me out for asking, how are you ignoring a group of Hispanic parents? And you going on with the meetings. We have it was an entire group, about 40 or 50 Hispanics. And you don't have an interpreter there? Well, we're just going to get them a brochure in Spanish.